Hi guys, I'm Zoe and I'm here with Active on Demand speaking about rare skin conditions. So I have a rare skin condition, right? I had it since I was a baby. When I was born, the doctors could see that something is wrong with my skin, and that's where people thought it was eczema, but it was not eczema. It's like lamellar ichthyosis. It's very rare. It's affecting 1 in 1,000 people, and I am part of that 1 in 1,000 people, right? And what it is, it's, you know how you have normal skin, right? Your skin sheds, right? My skin does not shed, or it does not generate new skin every after maybe 2 weeks. Mine doesn't shed normal skin. It builds up instead, and then building up, it then takes time to go off, and then it becomes scaly. That's how my skin condition is. And what happens, so what causes it, according to research, is basically the whole gene mutation. I recently had a conversation with my doctor where she was like, when people think it's gene mutation, you automatically think it comes from your parents, right? And some people would then want to blame the parents for having the skin condition, and I'm like, no guys, you can't put it in that way. But it comes from the parents. It's known as a gene mutation, sporadic. So that means my dad and my mom formed a new gene, and I was the carrier of that new gene. Whatever gene was created in me is a new gene, right? And that's how my skin condition came to be. It's not contagious, right? It's just like skin. The common misconceptions with my rare skin condition specifically is people saying I was burned. People saying I'm like this because of my parents. People saying I have eczema. People saying I have snake skin. I think that was the year 2022, 2023 roundabout, and that's where the snake skin thing came. I'm like, guys, it's not snake skin, it's not burnt skin, it's not eczema. But I hear you and I understand where you're coming from because of lack of knowledge, and it's understandable. But I'm thinking of the child who suffers, man, who can't handle these things, especially if you come from a very cultural place. I remember watching an interview of a child in Kenya who had the same condition like me, but even worse because there wasn't proper treatment. They don't have as much access as we do in South Africa, so they're in the village. And you know what people were saying? They were like, the child is burned, the ancestors rejected you. And it was painful. It made me cry because I was in the child's shoe. The mother couldn't understand. It's the mother wanted to reject the child because she also couldn't understand. And with people saying what they're saying, it's understandable why you would feel the way you feel. So those are part of few misconceptions people say. And I think what I would want people also to avoid is don't go saying those things, because you don't know how it may affect the parent. You don't know how it may affect the child living with it, because it could scar the child for the rest of their lives. It could make them feel unworthy, unwanted, not part of society. Then how are you expecting the child to grow up? How are you expecting the child to embrace themselves if you're going to say that to the mother, or you're going to say that to the child themselves? How are they going to try to raise the child better? Don't say those things. Better ask or do your own research. Ask what the name is so that you can go do your own research and understand, and not just do name calling or insulting people indirectly. And I think that's one thing for sure. I think thinking of it makes me emotional, man. But yeah, it's fine. I think it's not so much about what I want people to understand, yeah? But it's what I want people to accommodate. Because you imagine, I lived a life where I thought I wanted to be normal, like everybody else, yeah? And I'm there's nothing really extraordinary about living with somebody who's normal. What I want people to understand is just to know that it's okay to be different. being different does not mean I'm an outcast or I am some witch. I'm just as normal as you are. I'm just different. And in me being different, I can do what you can do. My skin condition does not prevent me from not doing what you're capable of doing. Like, if you can be swimming, I can also swim. If you can do, like, wear shorts, I can also wear shorts, but it's just not my thing to wear shorts. Does it make sense? Like, that's what I want people to know. I can do what you can do. It doesn't prevent me from not doing anything. Makes sense? Yeah. Okay, I do feel like it has impacted my daily life. It has made me more empathetic, right, and more understanding, and also more kind. And in terms of myself and mental health, I would say it has taught me to persevere. Though I have like challenges coming now and then, and like self-doubt comes in, it has really taught me to persevere and just be kind to myself in as much as I want to be kind to other people and open to them. In terms of relationship, it has like hindered that part, like especially social relationships. But outside where I have to like connect outside of romantic relationships, like it has taught me to be understanding, to like welcome people. And in terms of romantic, I always think of what my partner and how my partner would handle me as a person. And I don't think that people out there are ready to understand that part or ready to walk with a person who looks like me because of not understanding what the condition is. How are they going to defend me against other people? They don't have like that stamina. So like until I get to that stage where I know that somebody fully understands what the condition is, then maybe I'll be open. But for now, I'm like reserved. Yeah. So interesting thing about the stairs, right? So I remember when I was like young, it used to bother me because like, why are you looking at me? As a child, I don't have like an answer. It's so awkward when people look at you like for no reason. But like as time went by, teenage rise, I just started like smiling at them. I'm like, do you have a question? And I'm like, oh my word. And then just walk fast. Like I have a tendency of walking fast and then just smiling at them. Then in terms of the questions, it all depends on how you ask the question and how you approach me, your tone as well. That's very important. But I do like answer the questions based on how they ask me. And I try to give them as much information as they need to know about the skin condition. But if you come with like curiosity and like an open mind of why you want to know about the information and not just like, okay, this is awkward or this is like a thing that irritates me, let me just find out, so that I try to avoid the whole thing. But I give them like the answers they need. At one point I felt uncomfortable, and it was the way the person approached me as well. Like approaching the person is very important, like, but how you approach is also important. So I do answer them as like, now I'm comfortable with like how they approach me, basically. I think when you think about the importance of education, you know that people automatically become aware and educated. So the more people know, the more accepting they become of a situation or like a rare skin condition. But for people actually living with the skin condition, it just shows them that they are not alone in the space. They have somebody to look up to, that there is like information, right? And the more people are educated, the more possibilities of there being cures or there being more products available to people to use, right? And then in terms of inclusion, as mentioned, like people living with the actual rare condition or rare skin will know that they are not alone. They don't have to suffer in silence. There's somebody who looks like me, and I can be comfortable. It gives them the courage and like the confidence to also say, if she can do it, I can do it too. Because I know like of a case in KwaZulu-Natal. It's an article I read of somebody who looks like me, right? And the mother was like explaining, she didn't understand where the condition came from, right? And when the doctors told her, no, there was this person, on social media, just follow like Zoey. You will see that she has this skin condition and is able to freely like live her life. If you can just ask her for advice. And the fact that I was like on big platforms, or I am on social media, that gives the young child like confidence to say that she can do it. Like, so in schools, when people like try to bully me, let me remember that I'm not alone. Somebody before me went through this, so I can go through it as well. And that just like includes that person in that space, because before a person can be included by others, they have to include themselves first. And that's something I believe. If you can't be accepting of yourself, if you can't educate yourself about yourself, how are you going to educate other people about who you are and what you stand for and what your condition is? And I think that's very important to understand. You have to include yourself, you have to educate yourself, so that you are able to educate other people, so that they can become more aware of the condition. I think that's just it. So what I remember in high school, or the transition to high school, in primary school I used to play like a lot of sports, right? Like I was a netball girl, and it wasn't like tough for me to go out and play even when we went to other schools, because I had my teacher. Like, my teacher really loved me, but the thought of her leaving me, or me leaving her in grade 7 and transitioning into high school, that was like daunting. And when I got to like high school, grade 8, you know how children, like, you have bullies, guys. You can't stop like any bully from not bullying you, and it's children, they tend to bully. So when I went to grade 8, I faced bullying like for the first few months, until my parents came to school to explain how the whole situation was. And people would like bully, like remove my scarf. I used to hide my skin in grade 8 because like I didn't have friends who understood. I didn't have teachers who understood. Like, everything was just new to me, and I just had to remind myself who I am. I had to remind myself that my family loves me, and the fact that they love me, I should carry that with me to school. Even though the bullying was like harsh, the fact that my parents came in to like rescue me from the day there, like, that was like the biggest challenge. And I can still remember it to this day. That's one thing for sure. If I think about it, it had a lot of impact or influence on my perception even today. I think it's a continuous process where you won't have like, okay, this is what it has defined and this is what I'm carrying with me. It's a continuous thing, but it has really taught me how to accept myself, be comfortable with who I am, and not to want to fall under the definition of what society defines as beautiful. It's okay to not fit into that description of what is beautiful. It's okay to just be comfortable as you are and be in your own space. That's one thing. In terms of body positivity, it has taught me to just embrace myself. There's no need for me to say, oh no, advocate for this, be like in this space of body positivity, to say like you must speak about your body. No, just be who you are, be comfortable with what you look like. You don't have to go like outside of looking for something that's not there. Yeah, that's something I can say definitely. So support systems, definitely my family. The belief that they instilled in me, not just about who I am from like the physical sense, about who I am in God. I was created in His image, and you even go beyond being created in God's image. You are loved. Just affirming that I'm loved every day, I think that's also a big part of what like support I need and still need like going forward. And friends as well. My friends are very supportive. So it's family, God, friends. And what else? Yeah, just being comfortable with myself, being in my own space is also one resource that I highly value. Because if I can't be alone and be comfortable with myself, then how am I going to accept what other people offer to me? Yeah. So I think I'm not gonna give the cliche answer to say that be yourself, It's okay. You'll get over it. It may take time to get over it. Some people may not get over the skin. Some people would want it gone, because guys, growing up, you are going to face people bullying you, people trying to make you feel like you're like down. But what I would want to say is that it's okay to go through your emotions. It's okay to feel unworthy for a certain period of time, but don't drown in that situation. Don't let that stigma drown you. Be comfortable with who you are. Be comfortable with how you look. If you are going to want to be normal, then how are you going to encourage other people who look different? You need to know that your purpose may be to inspire people who are normal, maybe to bring light or educate people more on that. So I need you to understand that you have a purpose. Whether you understand that purpose now, tomorrow, or later, or 10 years from now, you have a purpose. You have to accept who you are, be comfortable with who you are, be comfortable with how you look. Because if you are going to be able, or if you are going to be navigating this world, you need to understand who you are, be comfortable with how you look, so that other people can be comfortable with you as well. What you also need to understand is, don't desire to fit into what people classify as normal or classify as being beautiful. You need to be beautiful on your own. You need to ascribe to what you look like different, and it's okay. You know how you have like a right hand person? Majority of the world is right hand, if I'm not mistaken, and then there's a few who's left-handed. What you need to understand is that yes, you are left-handed, right? You don't need to be right-handed, and it's okay. You don't have to want to be like everybody else. Just accept who you are. It's gonna be difficult, it's gonna be a journey, but small steps are important. Be comfortable with who you are, with how you look. So guys, I'd like to thank Active on Demand for listening to my story and interviewing me. I hope you guys get inspired. I hope you guys get educated, as well as interested in wanting to know more about rare skin conditions, rare diseases, and just be open-minded about everything. So don't forget to subscribe, like, and follow.